I
Sorry, boy.
think we have so Suresh is here, Sean's here, Mike's here.
I'm talking to Jim right now. He's trying to join. I don't know if you have the ability to invite him as panelist, but it looks like he tried to start a Teams meeting, so I'm trying to get him in here.
I'll go back to that attendees. I'll click on Jim. Promote to panelist. I just did that again, Mary Lee. Let's see what happens.
There we go. Nice.
Yeah, I have the same problem. I went to the Teams meeting for some reason, took me to Teams meeting.
There's Jim. Woo! Wow.
Oh.
Hear me?
Yes, Jim. Good afternoon. Well, we're here. We do have a quorum.
I can't hear anybody.
Can't hear me, Jim?
Can hear you.
Hold on, Jim.
I think you're muted, Jim.
How's that, Jim? Can you hear us now?
How about now?
Yes.
We can hear you very. You might want to increase your volume because we can hear you, but not clearly.
Hello?
Okay. Can everybody hear one another? Okay.
Yes.
I think we're going to move my screen. Okay. Hopefully technical difficulties are to the side of us and we can get underway. If everyone's in agreement, we do have a quorum. So 12:24, I'm going to offer to suggest we call the meeting to order. 12:24. I'll be taking minutes and so on. Let me share my screen. I'll share the agenda for the committee. Do you see that? The agenda. Okay, good. Okay. So number one, meeting has been called to order. Number two, there's no past minutes to approve. Number three, just some discussion points for today's kickoff meeting on the pre-qualification for the construction manager at risk delivery on the Shaker Lane Elementary School project. We've all seen the RFQ, so you're familiar with the RFQ. Are there any questions as to the process from anybody on the committee regarding the steps? With the idea that it's a two-step process. Step one is the RFQ, where the firms have already submitted their qualifications. The evaluation committee, the committee reviews the evaluations, gives a score for each of the firms, makes a determination of who and how many advance to step two, which is the request for proposal, the RFP process. We good with that for now, and we can continue to talk through those steps if there's any hiccups or any questions. I can also send along, if people want, there's a guide, which I'll show you right here on my screen. If you need it, there is the Inspector General's office designing guidelines. And in here, real fast, I can send you this link. It's on the state's website. Where'd it go? There it is. There's a whole process here, quote, step-by-step guidelines that the state procurement Inspector General's office provides. If there's any reading people want to know about.
Yeah, if you don't mind sending that out, that'd be great.
Okay, I certainly will. I believe, I recall that whenever we have a pre-qualification meeting, there should be a pre-qualification committee chair of the 5 members, just to act as the chair. While I'll say I am not a voting member at this time, with respect to, Suresh, Sean, Mike, Jim, Mary Lee, as the committee at large, and Kelly is the alternate. I think it's a good idea if the committee members want to consider voting in a chair for the purpose of having a chair. I will probably act as the administrator or the MC of these meetings, just on behalf of the OPM and to help organize things and send out information. But can I more or less ask the committee to consider nominating one of the 5 of you as the committee chair?
I would recommend promoting Sean to be the chair. If that's okay with all.
That's fine. This would be the first time kind of going through this process, but I'm happy to do that if people want.
Okay. Okay. So there's been a motion to approve.
Second.
Sean, second by Jim. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Sure.
Aye.
Okay. The motion carries. Thank you, Sean, for being the chair. Okay. Kind of go through this relatively, not too quickly, but fast enough. You've all seen the Project Dog website. You've seen that access. You now have access to all the RFQs. I know there was some technological connections with the links, but does everybody have access to the submissions by way of Google Drive, OneDrive, so on?
Yep.
Good. Okay. I guess number 3E, I don't think we're going to necessarily assign any particular company member to do any particular evaluation. I think it's in the best interest, and I'll let the committee decide on their own, that each member review all 8 of these submissions. There's 8 of them. It's kind of a heavy load, but not too overpowering. Here's a score sheet that I will send out. That this is a score sheet that we've used in the past successfully. Now, I will say column C, which I just highlighted, these are score numbers that we've used, and it's up to the committee if they want to change the scoring points per category.
Peter, we
Peter,
can't
can you
see
bring
what
that
yours
up,
on the
is.
screen? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I shared my screen on that one. Sorry. I'm not used to the Zoom. I thought it would have automatically jumped over. I can't tell. Is it on there now?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
you can see it now.
Sorry about that. I'm used to a Teams Zoom invite. Regardless. So here's a spreadsheet, call it score sheet, that we've used in the past, like I said, on a scoring matrix, if you will. The schedule, column A is the schedule, the qualifications we've asked of the CM firms in the RFQ to provide their information on how they can support and perform the project, from ownership, summaries, the management personnel, Schedule D, project experience, and so on, down to a score of 100. This point structure in column C is what we've used in our office in the past. We find it reasonable, agreeable, and manageable. If the committee wants to change the point structure by category, for example, if somebody feels or the committee feels safety and experience modifier should have more than 5 points, that's fine. We can adjust that, but we'd have to take points off a different category, provided it all adds up to 100. So what we can do, if the committee wants, I'll send this out to you. We can meet again at the next meeting, number 2. If there's a consideration to change the point structure, the committee can decide it at that point and go from there. So these are all the firms up above here. I'll highlight it, row 7. These are in alphabetical order. There's 8 firms: Bond, Commodore, Consigli, Fontaine, Gilbane, Lee Kennedy, Shawmut, and W.T. Rich. I'll send this out, and I just put in reviewer 1, reviewer 2 at the bottom. I'll probably put your names in there. And what we're going to end up doing at the end is summarize all these scores. And that'll be the consensus score sheet for at the end of the project, or the end of the evaluation, excuse me, to determine which firms are going to advance to the next step, the RFP phase. It's relatively straightforward. It's an evaluation by each committee member to take a look at the qualifications that have been submitted by each of the firms. I will, as you know, I will change my screen again. And I just picked the first one. Where's my screen? Whoops. Again, I just picked Bond because they're the first ones alphabetically. There's no preference here. But as you can see, here's their qualifications that they've submitted. It's 249 pages in length. A lot of it's repetitive from the RFQ, as you can see here. So all 249 pages don't carry every word is everything you need to worry about. And you'll get the swing of it once you start reading these things. And you'll get a flavor of what the firm offers, what kind of experience they have, what kind of staffing they intend to provide on the project. And again, back here, I'm going to go switch my screen back again, excuse me. Back to the score sheet. We find, and again, this is the committee's decision, we find Schedule C, which is the management and the personnel, and Schedule D, the similar project experience. That has the highest weight as far as points. In our view, you certainly, as a committee, can change the view of how you want to evaluate it. But we find the company itself and their experience and the people they're going to provide, or the staffing they're going to submit on the project, is paramount. Particularly the K-12 market, particularly elementary schools, and how they plan to staff the job and what kind of experience they have. To include, have the staff within that particular firm worked together in the past. Again, cohesion, collaboration among themselves, and then of course with the awarding authority, the design team, and the OPM, and all the other associated contractors. So just a thought process there for you, for the team, the committee to consider. I'll go back to the agenda, if you don't mind. I think I have to switch my screen back again, interestingly. So that's item 3. I think when we get into the review and evaluation, it's important to call on the references that they've listed here. And so maybe the committee considers who's going to call what references of the 8 firms. That would avoid 5 people from the committee calling all the references from all the 8 firms. And if I'm a reference on from one of the firms and I'm getting 5 phone calls about one of the CM at risk firms, I'd be a little annoyed after the 3rd one. So maybe today you want to consider who, as a committee, who wants to make what reference calls for what firms, just to kind of divide and conquer that task. That's something we want to do right now, maybe while we're talking about it, just get it off the table. Or does the committee want to come back at the next meeting and make a decision after they've read the RFQs?
I'm assuming we could just do it now and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me switch my screen back to the listing of the firms, just for the purpose of ease. Okay.
So is this, Peter, there's 5 of us?
There's 5 of you, correct. There's Suresh, Sean, Mike, Jim, and Mary Lee makes up the committee. So somebody's going to take 2 firms if they want, or you split it.
Oh, I forgot to mention Sean. We made Sean the chairperson. He gets 3 of them then. or 4 of them.
Yeah, but and by the way, Sean, as the chair, you can shut me down and you can take command by all means.
No,
So-
you're doing great, Peter. I appreciate it.
Thanks. All right. So let's go with bond. Who wants to do bond?
Well, can we split it up
I
maybe
shouldn't
into
do bond.
the type of people who are like, I would be happy to speak with other designers because I feel like I would know better what questions to ask and we would speak the same language. Maybe it makes sense for Jim to speak with town managers, divide it up
point.
more like that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
But why don't we
Okay.
do one thing? Peter, if you and I can work on our list, we'll put the list and name the references they've given us and put that list together and then, circulate that. That'll be the best way. And we can, like Mary Lee suggested, that's a good idea. Town managers to town manager, and then, designer, OPM, we can do that, and work that list down then.
That sounds like a good approach. Okay. Why don't we do that? I'll send Suresh and I will put that list together of the categories of references as just mentioned and circulate it. But I think we'll start off with Mary Lee will take all designers, Jim will take all town managers. Sean, Suresh, and Mike can divvy up the balance.
Sorry
Yeah,
to volunteer you,
so
Jim.
Bond put subcontractors as a reference.
I think the RFQ specifically asked for subcontractor records. They all seem to list those. Are we restricted to talking only to the listed references? Because I would prefer to speak to the most recent relevant projects and sort of track down who was involved with those and speak to them.
Sure. No,
Yeah.
you're not restricted.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Again, we're looking to determine as a comfort level the contract, the firm's references. So because they listed somebody and you have somebody else, that's fine.
That's
We've
fine,
done
yeah.
that in the past. So. Okay.
And
That's good.
it's been upheld in the SJC, so that precedent has already passed, so it's been upheld. That you can call anyone you want to.
Okay. Shoot. Do we want to be consistent? I think 3G, let me highlight that. 1 second. Oops. Yeah. The questionnaires. I think it's probably a good idea to have some sort of standard questions. So there's quote an apples to apples evaluation. We do have I should have presented that. We do have a list of standard questions that I can kick to everybody. And it can be edited by all means. Mary Lee, I'm sure you have some particulars. Jim may have some, Sean might have some, Mike, and so on. So maybe I would recommend that the committee consider having a relatively standard format for questions or reference checks as they make their phone calls or their emails out to the members. While phone calls will probably be held, sometimes emails are also just as balanced. So we'll do that as well.
The only question I would do is, will we all respond to Peter only and not to all, because we don't have a committee conversation going on online, and that's just becomes a conflict later on. So we respond to Peter then puts it all together.
Thank you for that. I think I've done it, but I'm going to do it if I haven't already. I will send out things to everybody, blind copy. So nobody knows it. If you respond, it's only coming to me, not the group. That avoids conflict. So we can do it in that manner.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Sorry, I had to step away, Oliver, for an important call for a second. So who do I have?
Jim, you got everybody. No.
All right. I figured as much. That's okay.
No. Mary Lee suggested, rather than breaking up company by person, we break up references by people's position. So, for example, Mary Lee will take all the designers' reference checks. Maybe you, Jim, as town manager, can do all the municipality, business manager, town manager, etc. sort of references among all 8 firms.
Great idea. Great idea, Mary Lee.
And then I'll put out a list, Suresh and I will put out a list, Jim, of all the other types of references and share it with Sean and Mike as well and Suresh, and they'll divvy up who they want to call. And we'll kind of have a master list, if you will, of who's doing what. So we don't step on each other's toes and annoy the references with too many inquiries.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. That's good. Oops. So there's 3G. We'll do the questionnaire thing we just mentioned. We'll get that out again, get it to the group here. The selection process, I think we've talked about it. We can talk about it some more, but I'm going to send out that score sheet that you saw. Mm-hmm. And that's an individual score sheet that I'm going to say is your personal worksheet of how you want to evaluate it as you review the process. When you do it, let me see. Somebody's waiting in the lobby. Somebody just pinged me. 1 second, please. I'm the host, so I gotta. Who is that?
That's on Teams.
That must have been. So I bet you that's Kelly, because I saw Kelly on the email chain on the Teams thing, because I thought we were regrouping in another environment, so that's why I sent out a Teams invite to everybody.
Okay.
So let me go in there and cancel the meeting.
Okay. Does anybody have Kelly's text number? Do you want to join by Zoom?
I'll
We're kind of almost done as well. I don't think there's too much more to do. Whatever you guys decide. I'll keep going if you want, and Kelly can join if he has the opportunity. What was I going to say?
Actually,
okay.
while Jim's doing that, could I ask how much of this process is going to be via public meeting and how much needs to be behind closed doors, like the interview, for example?
Well, to me, when it comes to the interview, what I've read and what I understand, it is a public meeting. Yes. Although we will encourage the firms that are being interviewed not to enter the room. I've done this in town halls or public meetings. We sort of close the door, but we put a note on it, public meeting, and we ask those who are being interviewed to wait in the waiting room and not listen in while the firms that are being interviewed are in process. And my experience, nobody tries to challenge that. Everybody respects that because it's going to be their turn next, and they don't want the same. It's not a matter of stealing proprietary information. It's just a comfort level and giving a relaxed atmosphere for the firms to talk candidly with the awarding authority. So, but generally speaking, it is a public meeting. I guess if the general public wanted to walk in, we can't stop them because it is public. Sort of like this meeting. This is a public meeting. Yep. So, and I'm taking minutes, and we'll have to publish those. So, there's always, it has to be relatively transparent, so to speak. The only thing that's not public, as you probably know or have read, is the update statement and the contractor's financials. That is not a public request. If there's a public request for information, I'll work with the town clerk's office and the committee to go through the town clerk's office for public records. If any of you hold on. If any of you get a request for public records, I would certainly direct them to the town clerk's office.
Yes.
Because that's where all information should be disseminated from. And I will alert the town clerk's office that on behalf of the building committee or the pre-qualification committee, I will provide that information to the town clerk, and I can help separate any non-public information for the town clerk's use. So, but other than that, it's public. So, okay. We left off on the agenda, if you can still see it, on 3G. We talked about the questionnaire. I'll get that out. 3H, the selection process. We're a few steps away from getting to the RFP. Maybe I should jump down for a minute to item 4, which is the schedule, which I got to switch my screen again. Excuse me. I thought it did it automatically. Here's the look-ahead schedule, if you can see this, of what this committee is expected to do and when. Now, I'll move this around a little bit, hopefully zoom in. This is a snapshot. I'm not saying this is hard and fast. We get to work at our own pace. You guys do. The committee does, excuse me. And when you're ready to keep moving. I think what we should do tonight or today before we adjourn is schedule the next meeting. At that point, there should be enough time for each of you to have sufficient time to evaluate or begin to evaluate or be, say, 50% through, if not 100% through the evaluation. And then we can see where we stand, go to the next step, and we can have another meeting, a quick meeting, just to see where we all are as a group. And then make another determination for the third meeting, so to speak, to submit our score sheets in a summary manner, if that's a thought process. Again, this is just me offering thoughts and ideas. Committee members can certainly weigh in on your process and your thinking as well. So I'll get this to you as well, a schedule, but this, again, a snapshot. If there's a thought to change these dates, let me know. I can update it, not only for yourself, but for the full building committee, so they have an idea of what's expected and when. Any questions there? I will say we have listed here. Let me look at this for a second. We were talking about, looking at a calendar. We were talking about or planning to put out the RFP in 2 weeks, November 4th. That might be too soon. If it is, that's okay. We can wait another week if you guys think it's necessary. It is important that this is a thorough and thoughtful process. We are not, I don't think we don't need to spearhead this in a very short manner, because we are selecting a firm that's going to be with the project for the next 36 months and is a viable, very important team member. So a couple extra days is worth the effort, in my view, plus we have some time. So
yeah,
I'll leave it at that for consideration. I'll go
if
back.
I can just add, I think, Jim, you have to tell us, because you have your town meeting, special town meeting, so you got to be pretty tied up with that too. So if you have, we'll take the lead from you, what works for you best.
No, I'll make it work. Don't worry. Don't worry. You just, whatever's in the best interest of the of the committee, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Thank you. Thank you for that, though.
Okay.
So should we try to plan to meet right after the special town meeting?
Sure.
In the meantime, we can get, rest of all the legwork done, all the calls made and all the references checked, and we can then move forward from there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I hope my agenda is back on back on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So that's pretty much item 3. Item 4, we just talked about the schedule. Those are just dates. Nothing to really talk about. You've seen those.
Right.
Again, anticipated. I'll stop chatting here for a minute. I'll turn the microphone over to you guys. But I would like to see, here it is today, October 22nd. Jim, when is, I don't have it on top of my head. When is town meeting?
28th,
28th. Okay.
next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's the town vote on November 1.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So what does the committee think about the next meeting date and time that might work? I'll let you guys talk among yourselves here and make a determination of what you need for time to review. Again, we don't have to be at a certain point. It's a level of when do we want to talk again? We can talk 5 more times or 3 more times. It doesn't matter. It's up to the committee.
Well, we've got 2 different ways of approaching it. We can do it because there would be a potentially looking at a plan B if it fails at town meeting, passes at the ballot, or vice versa. So we would either do it. We would wait until, let's say, that Monday after. What does that be? The third or the fourth? Well, or we do it maybe the 29th or the 30th. So to take a temperature check where how the town meeting went.
Mm-hmm.
Good idea. Yeah, that's a good thought.
So why don't we plan, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, we can either, I would suggest we do it maybe the 30th.
Sounds
at
good.
some point. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yep.
Okay.
And the 30th is Thursday, 1
Yes,
week from
sir.
tomorrow. 1 week from
Right.
tomorrow.
Right.
Is there a particular time that works for everybody?
Oh,
After 12.
10, 11, 12. Well, fine.
And anytime after 12.
Anytime after 12.
That
I
works
think I
for
have
me.
one conflict later in the afternoon. So
How about 2 o'clock?
no, that's what I have a meeting 2 o'clock. So
Oh, okay.
Three.
can we do Friday morning? Would that work for 30?
Fine. Fine by me.
Halloween?
Friday morning is
Yep.
fairly open. So
Okay.
Thursday is better for me, but
Okay. What about Wednesday? Anytime.
Thursday morning I can do if you want to do anything Thursday morning before
Yeah,
12
but-
o'clock.
I think
Yeah,
Sean or Mike couldn't do that.
My Wednesday is wide open. My Friday is open except for 1 o'clock.
So, I mean, we can do something like 2 o'clock on Wednesday, the 29th.
that works for me.
Suresh.
Yeah,
Mary
that
Lee?
will work for me 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Wednesday, the 29th of October at 2 p.m.
Yes, please.
Very good. Back to the agenda, I guess. Is my agenda back on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Can't tell. Okay. That's more or less the meats and potatoes of this agenda for the most part. I'll just go through the other items. Any other business not reasonably anticipated in the last 48 hours, which was the timeline for this agenda?
Nope.
Okay. The next meeting date we just confirmed. Item 7, public comments. If there's anybody from the public, let me see. I guess I'm co-host. See if anybody else is on the screen here. I do not see anybody from the public, so there's no public comment. Are there any, before we go to item 8 for adjourn. Any questions so far on anything? Any missing information that anybody wants to have, or everything so good, so good? So far, so good. Excuse me.
Can I make a suggestion on the scorecard, if you wouldn't mind bringing that up?
Sure. 1 second. Let me switch my screens. Go ahead, Mary Lee.
Okay, so two things. First, on the scroll down just a smidge.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So the financial information and rating these firms on their financial information, to some of us, reading that information is going to go right over our heads. So I would suggest that maybe 1 or 2 people with expertise in that rate that instead of all of us needing to, and then we just rely on that.
Okay.
Second
And
that.
then the other suggestion would be on
Mary
scroll
Lee,
up. Yes.
just 1 second.
Sure.
While we're on financials.
Yeah.
By the way, it's allowed that if a pre-qualification committee member, let's use the audited financials, does not have the knowledge, expertise to do that, we can appoint an external person to do an evaluation and report back to the committee. Jim, I'll just throw this out. Town treasurer, town accountant, they seem to know numbers way better than me when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Just a thought. It doesn't have to be a town member, but it could, and maybe they're best suited and
Yep.
closest to the pulse of the project that can, scan this stuff in quick
Yep.
order.
All right. I'll volunteer the finance director or the assistant finance director,
Okay.
but you have to
Good
tell
idea.
them. Peter. I'll volunteer them, but you have to tell them.
I'll go like
No.
this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that won't be an issue. Thank you. That's a great
Sure.
suggestion.
I'll go on to them. I'll offer them the information through an electronic portal to get the financials.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
So thank
So
you, Jim. Thank you, Mary Lee, for that thought.
In a similar vein, the litigation portion of this, it's sort of hard to tell from, I skimmed through these and I didn't necessarily see any red flags. I mean, I think anybody is going to, at some point, be involved in some litigation. That doesn't necessarily mean that it was anything that should negatively impact them, but it would be a good idea to have somebody with more expertise in that look at it. And then I also, related to this, we've got 10 points assigned to the litigation category. I think it's further up. Yes, 10 points here, because I didn't really see any red flags. I would like to propose reducing that to 5 points and taking those extra 5 points and moving them up to the experience category. So we've got 25 points for both the management personnel and the project experience categories, C and D.
I like that.
That's I like
That
that
makes
too.
sense.
Great job.
Check my formulas. They should work. They do. Okay. There you go.
So I don't
That's
have
committee.
a suggestion of who should review the litigation stuff.
Maybe a thought. If there's any red flags, committee member identifies it, and we speak with town council, who could do a quick. I don't mean to use the word quick. I don't mean to say it that way, but could do an evaluation on behalf of the committee, similar to the town finance director.
Yeah. Great strategy.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Another. Okay, I'll stop. Anything else, Mary Lee? Any thoughts?
Thank you.
Those are good suggestions. One other consideration, not for today necessarily, but just planting the seed. At some point, there will need to be a decision when the score sheets get summarized. We need to qualify at least 3 firms to go into the next phase RFP. It's often recommended to do more than 3, just for the point of if somebody eventually decides by chance they're not going to go into the RFP phase because they may have just landed a project.
Correct.
Because as we all know, every day contractors and everybody in any business is seeking the next opportunity. And the time frame just might be that they landed one that they didn't think they were going to get. So maybe it's 5 people, 5 firms. I'm not saying it's 5, I'm just offering a thought. But think about that. And then again, if it's often recommended and encouraged, whoever makes it to the RFP phase gets interviewed, traditionally. So be prepared for that. If there's 5, there's 5 interviews. And based on the process of an interview, you, just for ballpark, it's no less than 1 hour per firm.
Yeah.
By the time they do a 20, 25, 30-minute presentation, 20-minute conversation, 5 minutes of closing, a water break, setup time, it's 1 hour. So just, again, not discouraging or encouraging, just putting out thoughts for recommendation when the time comes. Okay. I'm all done.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Second.
Second.
Second. 104. Thank you, everybody.